Today for dinner, I made this delicious Marry Me chicken soup all in the crock pot. It is a must try. It is amazing. First, I took about a pound of chicken and threw that into my crock pot. And then I added that whole container of low sodium chicken broth and then a couple scoops of minced garlic and then about a half of a cup of these sun-dried tomatoes. I'm just chopping them up some and then throwing those in with a little bit of the juice. And then I seasoned it well with some salt, pepper, Italian seasoning, and I added red pepper flakes to mine. You don't have to if you don't want any spice to it at all. And then you're gonna cook this until that chicken is done cooking, so just a couple hours on high. And then you can either take out the chicken and chop it up like I'm doing, or you can just shred it up in the crock pot. I just always like mine a little chopped like this instead. And now you are going to add a cup of heavy whipping cream with 2 to 3 tablespoons of cornstarch. So just add this to your whipping cream and then stir it up until nice and smooth. And then you're gonna dump this into your crock pot. And then I added a cup of Parmesan cheese and then a block of softened cream cheese. And I do recommend maybe melting the cream cheese before throwing it in so it goes by a little faster. It did take mine a while to melt. So you're gonna let this all melt and then add about a cup or 2 of spinach in there chopped. And then your frozen tortellini, I did 2 to 3 cups of that. I like to use this tortellini because it cooks really fast, but you can cook other noodles and throw those in. But this was amazing, highly recommend. Today I made the best, most comforting homemade potato soup. I love this recipe. It is delicious. You do it all in your crock pot as well. First, you're gonna take 4 cups of chicken broth and then dump that in your crock pot. And then I peeled 8 potatoes and chopped them all up into little bite-sized pieces. You can make them bigger or smaller, however big you want them in your soup. And then I took 1 onion and diced it up and threw that in my crock pot as well. And then you were going to season it. I seasoned with salt, pepper, and some paprika. And then you could cook that on high for about 4 to 5 hours, low about 7 to 8 hours. Once that's done cooking, you are going to add 1 cup of heavy whipping cream to a separate bowl, and then 3/4 cups of sour cream. And then also I did 2 to 3 tablespoons of cornstarch. Just stir that up really well. And before you throw this in, if you'd like to mash some of your potatoes down, you definitely can. I did not this time. I have done it both ways. It just depends on how you want your consistency of your soup. All right, so you dump that in. And then I also added 2 cups of shredded cheese. You can skip this step if you don't want any cheese in it at all, but I think this went perfectly. Then you're gonna let this sit for about an hour or so. I put mine on high just to get those cheeses nice and melted. I love this dish. It's probably my favorite dish of all time. I'm a huge potato fan though, so that might be why. I could eat this every day. I hope you guys make it. Tell me what you think if you do. Today I made the most delicious chicken Alfredo soup all in the crock pot. This was really easy to make too. First I took about a pound of chicken and I seasoned that real well. And then I took a jar of Alfredo sauce and then I took some chicken broth, filled that jar up, dumped it in, and then filled the jar up halfway again and then dumped that in. And then I added another jar of Alfredo sauce and then I filled that jar up one more time with some chicken broth. So then I seasoned it real well again with this garlic Parmesan seasoning. And then I did about a cup of chopped carrots in here. And then I put this on high for about 3 hours or so, chopped up my chicken, put it back in there, and then added a cup or so of shredded Parmesan cheese, and then some spinach all chopped up. And then I added about a cup or so of noodles. And then in about 30 minutes, those noodles were all done cooking. And then I topped my soup with some more shredded Parmesan cheese, some cooked bacon, and then some croutons too. This was probably the most delicious soup I have ever had, and it's easy. I couldn't recommend this one more. I hope you guys give this a try. Let me know if you do. Tonight for dinner, me and Georgia made a crock pot potato and sausage soup. This one was really simple and it tasted amazing. So first we just used this bag of frozen hash browns and threw that in our crock pot. And then we did this whole box of chicken broth. We did the low sodium. And then you're just gonna do a can of the cream of chicken soup, just like this. And then I sauteed up a pound of sausage and some onions. And then you're gonna let that cook for a few hours and then add a half of a block of cream cheese and then a couple cups of freshly shredded cheese. You can do whatever cheese you want, and then you wait just an hour or so for all that cheese to get nice and melty, and it tasted absolutely delicious. Today I made one of our favorite dinners of all time. It is chicken noodle soup in the crock pot, and also we always put a little bit of mashed potatoes at the bottom of our bowl when we put our chicken noodle soup in. You have to try that. It is amazing. So first, just take about a pound or so of chicken and just season that up how you'd like. And then you're going to throw this into your crock pot. We add a little bit of carrots in there. These are just the carrots that I had, so we're chopping those up, put them in there, about a cup or so. And then 2 cans of cream of chicken with the herbs, and then 1 whole thing of this low sodium chicken broth. And then just season that how you like. We did garlic powder, onion powder, pepper, and you can put real onions in there and real garlic. I just didn't have any. So you're going to take out that chicken when it's all done and then chop it all up and then add your egg noodles. I do about a half of a pound. You can do as many egg noodles as you want here. We want a little bit of that broth still in there. So in just about 20 minutes, those noodles are done, and it is so creamy and delicious. Everybody in the family loves this one. Today I made this delicious pizza soup that had the kids asking for seconds. It was really easy to make too. So you could make this on the stovetop or the crock pot. Either way, I'm doing the crock pot. So first, to my crock pot, I added 2 jars of the traditional pasta sauce, and then I filled them up with low sodium chicken broth and dumped those in. I just forgot to record that. That's why I'm showing empty jars. And then a block of stuffed cream cheese. And then I cooked that pound of Italian sausage, and I'm throwing that into my crock pot. And then you're going to add whatever pizza toppings you want. I'm doing black olives and pepperoni, but you could add peppers, onions, mushrooms, whatever you want. I would saute the mushrooms and the onions and peppers if you do add those. Then I added this whole bag of shredded mozzarella cheese, and then I cooked it on high for like 4 hours until everything was nice and melted. And make sure you season this really well with some garlic powder and Italian seasoning. When this was all finished cooking, I topped mine with some shredded Parmesan cheese, some croutons, and a little bit of red pepper flakes. This was definitely a big hit at my house. I hope you guys get this one to try. Let me know if you do.